across the board. Here's Fetterman. Let's get to Oakham Fester on the shutdown real quick. I want to hear what old Fetterman has to say.
Carhartt.
Yeah, car mechanic.
Yeah. That's why shutting the government is really what the Democratic Party wants to do. And I follow country, then party. And it's the wrong thing for the country in a period of chaos. I refuse to vote to shut our government down. I absolutely would love to have... I would love to have a conversation about extending the tax credits for health care. Absolutely. But I would remind everybody, too, this was designed by the Democratic Party to expire at the end of the year. This is not something taken by the Republicans. They were designed to expire. Now let's have a conversation to extend it and not shut our government down.
Freaking Uncle Fester.
I mean, dude,
speaking the truth, man. Like, look, again, I've told you, this is all part of the plan. Show me his outfit real quick. First of all, I'm never wearing a suit again.
That's what I was thinking, dude.
I'm never wearing a suit to any event ever again. First
of
all,
so comfortable.
The guy that looks like he just got off work from KFC is speaking more truth and facts. He even says it was the Democrats who put it in there that these tax cuts would expire. Remember? Yeah. We said that too. But they don't want to talk about that stuff. Fetterman on Trump voters. Let's hear this. Let's hear this real quick.
I'm the only Democrat in my family. I grew up in a conservative part of Pennsylvania, and I grew up and I know and I love people that voted for President Trump. But they are not fascists. They're not Nazis. They're not trying to destroy the Constitution and those things. And that's part of another thing. I refuse to call people Nazis or fascists, or I would never compare anybody to Hitler and those things. And now that kinds of extreme rhetoric is going to continue. We're going to be more likely in resulting in extreme kind of outcomes and political violence and doing all these kinds of things like Charlie Kirk. For me, all I could say is like, let people grieve. Give people the space. I'm not going to use that terrible thing and that Pasek assassination to make my argument and try to put out my views. It's like, my God, he's a father that had his neck blown out by a bullet. And now people have forgotten. President Trump was in my state, was shot in the head. And if that could you imagine where our nation would be if he was hit in the same way with Kirk? We really got to turn the temperature down. And we can agree to disagree on these kinds of things. But right now, shutting down the government.
Pause.
I just can't.
Okay, so here's the thing. Everything he just said is common sense.
That's what I was fixing to say.
Hold on. But this is the play. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the warning I'm giving you right now. Mm-hmm. Remember when we lost, I told you, okay, there's going to be Democrats that start to come out that will start to shift back more to the moderate side because they know that they're not going to be able to win by being super extreme. So although everything he just said was 100% right, 100% accurate, absolutely, that's the play. They don't actually believe that, but they know that those are the talking points that are going to get them the wins in the midterms and the wins in the 2028 presidential election. That is the play. They're going to make it harder and harder and harder to differentiate between the left and the right. That's the play. I've been telling you guys this for months now. That is the play. And while we're freaking sitting here infighting with each other, the Democrats are regrouping. I bet you AOC and Fetterman are in on it together. Why do I say that? AOC and Bernie Sanders seem crazy and all this stuff to prop up maybe a Fetterman or maybe a Shapiro that comes up and things like this, that they are these like calm people that actually that they make sense in that and all this stuff. And I'm not saying it's going to be Fetterman, but what I'm saying is whoever the Dem is that's going to make this run to try to unite the Democrat Party, it's going to be that Democrat that starts to make sense. Mm-hmm. Because again, as we've talked about over and over and over, it is not the far left or the far right that wins the elections. It is the middle. It's the middle group. It is the middle group that wins the elections. It's the middle group that does this. And this little pendulum swing or whatever is what turns the elections how they want to do it. And so when you see Fetterman doing things like this, I see a guy that the Dems are trying to see what works, what doesn't work. The Dems are trying to figure it out. So don't fall for it, ladies and gentlemen. Don't fall for it across the board. The Dems are trying to figure out what works, what doesn't work.
Could you
and all the above.
honestly see President Fetterman in a Carhartt hoodie and blue jeans at NATO?
Again, I'm not saying it's Fetterman. What I'm saying
me either.
is
I'm just saying, just for, outside the box thinking.
Fetterman is a good test dummy to see the response. You get Fetterman to go out there and say something like that. You
And
do
see
some
how it
polling,
plays.
and then
Yep.
you see how it goes. And so that's what I'm saying. Fetterman, no. Do I think Fetterman's the candidate in 2028? No. But
Gavin.
is he a good one? It's like, oh, it's John Fetterman. If he says something and Democrats revolt that he says it, he had a stroke. It's Fetterman. All this other stuff, right?
He forgot to take his meds.
Yeah. I mean, literally, like,
Seriously.
look, man. Hey, you want to know? You want to know a show you guys can watch? It's called Veep, VEEP. It's the vice president, Veep. But it's like a Parks and Rec style show, but it's for government, and it's made, comedically or whatever.
Yeah.
But it is so true. It is the most accurate thing I've ever seen on how government actually works. Like, literally, there's this one scene where the girl who plays the vice president, she's got to endorse this guy for governor. And they are literally telling each other they hope they both die and their family gets cancer and all this stuff. And then they walk out in front of the mic and they're like, so-and-so for governor, da-da-da-da-da, like, and they love each other and stuff. That's how this crap works. And so I'm telling you, the Democrats are trying to figure it out right now. They're trying to figure it out what the right messaging is to go forward. Fetterman's a good test dummy. That's all I'm saying. Nobody takes AOC seriously enough. They know this. She'd be a good vice presidential pick, perhaps, for a ticket. But nobody takes her seriously enough for all this other kind of mess. So Fetterman is a good one. Like, hey, go say something like, actually cognitive thought for once,
Yeah.
And let's poll it and let's see how Dem voters, let's see how independent voters feel about it. And if they feel good about it, then they're like, awesome, this is great. We got a good thing going on. This is the thing. This is what they're doing. This is the plan. This is how it works. This is how they're going to do it. This is how they're going to fight back, ladies and gentlemen.